I will take you all the way up north, right, to a rather distressing story of how people or young people's trying to seek a better future for themselves through education are struggling to find a decent place to get their studies going. Rather unfortunate story by my colleague Mohammed Alabira in Nanumba. Take a view of this.
In 5 communities in the Nanumba sub-district, Bangdeyile, Asafoche, Tambi, Nebongni, and Lahato, children face significant challenges accessing junior high education. They must travel over 7 to 10 kilometers daily from their communities to Kuko for junior high school, with the nearest alternative being the even more distant Bimbila. These communities only have 2 primary schools, and when children complete primary 6, they must travel long distances to continue their education. Due to this challenge, many children end their education at primary 6 because of the distance. Parents too poor to afford bicycles cannot provide their children with a means of transport, forcing them to walk on foot. This situation has led to many children, especially girls, dropping out of school. Boys can endure the difficulties better, but girls often leave school to learn trade like seamstress or hairdressing, with some becoming mothers. When ChannelOne visited the communities, the team encountered some girls who should have been in school walking to Bimbila. They explained that they are learning hairdressing there because they could not attend junior high school due to the distance and lack of bicycles. Hairdress. Baba haila di mati ya. Kaba hai benzal ashil hai ma banang to sang le da chicheti ya kichena.
Mbora bunyin bezama chang.
Baba zanga ma chang. Lala. Okay. At about 9:30 in the morning, ChannelOne visited the primary school, finding it empty of children and teachers. However, some children mistaking the ChannelOne team for teachers started to arrive, I bet, without uniform.
Yes.
No, Wula zu kapcha ki chan puno.
No tichan to cook.
Kapcha ki kanna shukuro.
Yes.
Hey.
5.
5 people.
Yes.
So ka babane, bugoya.
So where so buchampuni.
So what they are saying is that these people, they are the only 2 in primary 6. That there are 5 of them in primary 6, and only 2 of them had come to school today. They say the rest have been sent to farm. The team then went to Nebongni, where children were seen throughout the community. Community members explained that the long distance travel and the lack of money for bicycles are why children don't attend school.
Tabia cha school ba yote saje sese ba nyina ngabando bonya primarily ba kwana ngabando bonya ne sake obu yangana kala.
For a child from these communities to continue their education, they must either leave the community or persevere through the challenges. One student now at Bimbila College of Education shared his journey with ChannelOne.
Yes, it's a very great one. You know, most of our brothers and sisters, after they complete primary school here, they find it difficult to go to JSS. Looking at the distance between Bimbila or Kuku to these communities, very far. It will take some couple of hours for them to reach a place to attend JSS. And most of our parents here, even though they are trying their best, but financially they cannot afford the accommodation or afford any bicycle or any vehicle to be taking them in and out daily. So due to that, they find it difficult to proceed to JSS. Yes. Most of the time, we male children, we are very energetic. And our parents are poor financially. So most of the time, the grown-ups after primary, before they proceed to JSS, they themselves have to work hard, physical strength, to get their money to afford other bicycle of rent to proceed to JSS. Unlike the female, they are not capable. They rather divert their their occupation to either to learn interest or to learn anything else.
Okay. The assemblyman for the area, a graduate of UEW, also shared his story.
After the complete pieces, the distance from Tambini to Koko is very far. It can take about 2 hours to walk to the school. So we found difficult for them to walk from the school, and the parents who cannot afford for them to get a bicycle or to go and rent a place for them to go to Koko. So looking at the distance, and here too we have farming community. If government can come to our aim and get us a JSS within our territory, it can help us to also let our younger brothers and sisters to also continue.
In Asafoche community, members, primarily fishermen, involve their children in fishing activities. At the riverside, most children seen in canoes are from the community. Elder Ativo, the community leader of Asafoche, echoed these concerns.
No government here, no plenty, no scholar, no the epibato, a pavia, I am a Toma. Yes, me the Kubino Jack, but not to yes, enemy. You look for Palakakui,
The story was similar in all the communities visited by ChannelOne News. The team followed the route children take to school, with the head teacher of Bangdayile Primary School lamenting the distance and appealing for a junior high school in Bangdayile to ease the children's plight.
You see that you will be able to produce about, say, 27 people to promote them to JSS 1. And before they will get to JSS 2, you see that they are dropping. Their number will decline. And when you go to their families to find out the reason why the number is declining, they will tell you that the people themselves will tell you that the distance. Actually, we are looking at it in this way. If government will hear our plea, we will have advised that they should establish a JSS at Bangdayile, so that communities around Bangdayile are not far from Bangdayile itself. And people there can go to Bangdayile and go back quickly to their home. The road is a hell. I commute on this road day in, day out, but it's a hell. There is a highland, which otherwise some people will call a hill, a mountain on the way. You have to climb it with your motor. Even with the machine, you have to struggle, not to talk of somebody who is walking, a child, a kid. And the road to, excuse me to put there, it's not safe, security-wise. You cannot say it's 100% secure. Actually, the child will be moving on the road lonely to school and from.
The headmaster of Kuko Junior High acknowledged the challenges the children face and supported the idea of establishing a junior high school closer to their communities.
The distance is the problem because when there's a rain like this, they can't come. And the bad nature of the route is also counted. And some communities are serving students, and they are all from far place. The distance is the problem governing my children attendance. When they come to school today, tomorrow, you see that the following day they cannot come. I was thinking if the assembly or the district office, they could have get something like a JHS school in one of the partner schools, so that it will shorten up the distance, the children's distance.
Some children told the ChannelOne News team that due to the distance, they can only attend school 2 or 3 times a week because of the exhaustion.
So how often do you come to school in a week? How many days do you come to school?
You can come 2 days or 3 days.
Why?
Because of the way the road is far.
Okay. At Kuko Junior High School, where these children travel long distances to attend, has its own challenges. The school structure is not in the best shape. The roof of the building is bad. According to the headmaster, it leaks anytime it rains and academic activities get disrupted.
And the building also needs renovation. Actually, the zinc is not in the good shape. When there's rain, the children patch in one place. and leave the other places because there's patches in the building.
Channel One contacted the district chief executive for Nanumba Sub, who has just assumed office. He acknowledged the challenge and said he will consult the Education Directorate to find a solution, although the Education Directorate declined to comment on the matter.
Community are making a passionate appeal for government for a junior high school to enable the children here continue. Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira for Channel One News from Tambi in the community.
That's a very sad situation that the students or the pupils in those two schools are facing. But joining us via Zoom to discuss this issue further is Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira, our Northern Regional Correspondent. Aminu, thanks for joining us. How are you doing? How's the North?
Oh, Alhamdulillah, we are doing well. Just that the rains for these days have stopped coming.
The rains have stopped coming?
The place is very dry.
Oh, wow.
No, the place is very dry and it's not easy.
That's unfortunate, but so far as we have life, you know, definitely the rains will come.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about the school. Is that where you are currently?
Yes, I am currently in one of the communities in the area.
Okay, which community is this?
This Bangdayili community.
Interesting. And what's the state of affairs in the area you are in currently?
Yes, like I said earlier, currently the main challenge here is that farmers are complaining about the rain pattern. That for a long time now it hasn't rained and their crops are currently drying up in the bushes. With regard to the story that we just heard, it's a serious challenge here in the communities. Because how it is that children here, their highest level is primary 6. After primary 6, they are unable to continue to junior high school because of the distance they travel to access a junior high school. They will have to travel all the way to Kuko. You know, Kuko is a familiar name. That is one of the witches' camp in the northern region here. So they have a junior high school there, and children from other communities, they all travel long to that place. And on the way, one, the road is not good. Two, when they are going, they will have to climb a mountain before getting to the community. So if children are taken from their communities, about 5 communities here, Bangdayili, Tambi, Lato, and Neboni, they are there. They supply or they give children, all their children, they go to a Kuko community for junior high school. You remember last month or so, I also did a story as to how Lato, students from Lato also travel all the way to Chichage, that is over the river. They also go there to attend junior high school. I was returning from Zabzu when I met them on the way. They were asking me to take them on my motorbike. So I asked to know where they were coming from. That is the challenge children here are suffering.
Okay.
So if they go to school, just 2 weeks, they are tired and they will end it there. Farmers, their parents are farmers. They don't do anything again. So they'll end up either going to farming or trying to learn that trade.
Aminu, you said the distance is quite far. Is it about an hour's walk? Because I presume that the children are walking to school over these hills.
Yes, the communities, they are in categories. They are the distance between them, they are wide. Some can use less than an hour, some more than an hour. The last community to travel there, they use almost about 2 hours.
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
And yes, about 2 hours to walk. They are walking on foot, no bicycles for them.
That's unfortunate.
Alabira, so we know that the national attrition rate for basic school is around 7.5%, right? And when I say attrition rate, I'm referring to the dropout. So for example, if somebody starts school in primary, right, we know that not all of them the class ends up in SHS. So in the north, we know when 10 people start at the primary level, about 5 or 6 will end up in JHS. And from JHS to SHS, about 3, right? So while the national attrition rate is about 7.5 nationally, in the north, you understand it's about 3%. Can you create a picture of the population in terms of the school-going population at the basic level for us in the communities where you visited?
Yes, thank you so much. I want to take Asafoche community. It's one of the communities very close to the river side there. Over there in the primary 5, when we went, the children there were about 20. But primary 6, we were told there were only 3 children in the class.
Wow.
There were 5, and those present at the time we went, there were only 2. We met 2, and in our interaction with them, we found out. So how many were there in class? They said 3. So we asked to know where the other person was. He said he had gone to that he was gone. He was sent to farm. So there were the only 2 children that we met in school that day. So attrition rate is a serious challenge here, and there were no. The most serious part is the ladies or the female students. For them, if there are 20 or say if there are 10 girls in the class, those that will go to junior high school, there will just be 2.
Wow. So if I get you correctly, the attrition rate among female pupils is more severe than the male students.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it's more severe because the boys, what they told us is that they are, somehow strong. They can travel or decide to leave the community to other to other communities.
Yeah.
We had one guy who is currently a student at the EP Training College in Bimbila, and then the assemblyman himself was a graduate from UEW. What I tried to find out how they were able to make it, and they told me they traveled away from the community to Pasa in the Oti region, some to Salaga side. That was where they went to attend their junior high school, SS, and then now they are graduates. And in that community, there were the only 2 people who have gone to school, aside the small ones that were following. So that is the high effect of it in the community.
Alabira, in your report, I believe when you visited one of these schools, the students came out with their books and pens, because they mistook you for a teacher, which means that the willingness to learn is there. It's just the facilities that are not available to them.
Yes, thank you. Actually, yes, when we went to the community, that is one other reason that is affecting them. There are no accommodation for teachers to stay in the community, and all the teachers that teach in those schools are either staying in Bimbila or other areas. So they all commute daily to the schools there. So it was around 9 thereabout that we got to the school, and there was no teacher, and all the classes were locked, no child in the school. So when we went and were coming down from our motorbike, students from the community saw us, thinking that we were the teachers there. So some of them started coming with their books without uniform. They were not wearing uniform, and even footwear. Some were walking barefooted, and the kind of slippers or footwear that they were wearing, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. So it's serious. It's serious.
Well, Alabria, thank you for the story, right, and for telling a very important story like this. But still with the dropout rate, right, or the attrition rate, when you go to their parents, I know you've been engaging them. When you go to them and you talk to them, what are some of the reasons why they tell you they don't allow? Obviously, because you know that the place is unsafe. It's not safe allowing students walking 10 kilometers to school and stuff like that. But in your engagement with their parents, what are some of the other issues they've been raising to you?
Yes, one, some of the reasons they've been raising to me is that, one, they are farmers, and they depend solely on the farm produce. And for the past years, like we started, the rains have not been coming. So many farmers here currently are actually suffering. So their parents are unable to afford bicycles for the children. And the getting rooms for the in the communities for them, like Kuko or Bimbila, which is farther away. Kuko community is a rural community. The families are just nuclear families. What's the name? Alleged witch and her grandson in a single room. So there are no rooms there for the children to even rent and say maybe they will come to stay in the communities there. And traveling all the way actually is a problem. Their parents say they have no way they can. They can help them. So they end up maybe taking them out of school to learn other trade. Because on our way, we met a number of girls walking to Bimbila. And in our interaction with them, they told us that their food got finished in Bimbila. So they went over the weekend to take food from their parents. And that was why they were coming back. So that is it. They either go to seamstressing or hairdressing. They think that is the only thing they can do to survive.
I'm sure you've spoken to authorities aside parents. What have they been saying? What's their reason for, the lack of inadequate infrastructure for these pupils who are the future of our country?
Yes, I spoke with the DCE, who has just assumed office in less than a month now. He's barely a month in office. Yeah, the time we did the report, when we spoke to him, he actually acknowledged the challenges there and said he was going to consult with the education directorate to see how best maybe they can put their heads together to address it. We reached out to the education directorate, and they were also lamenting because according to them, on their own or something, that they have also made recommendations for junior high school to open or to consider the plight of the children by opening a junior high school for them. So these were some of the things that the authorities there, the education directors in Nanumba South, that is Wulesi, and then the district chief executive there, that was what they were telling us, that they will put their heads together to see how best they can ameliorate the situation.
All right, Alabira, thank you so much for your time. Keep following up on if there are any updates to this story or there are any developing sides to the story. We'll be on standby for you to share with us.
Hold on, Jude. Before we let Alabira go, I wanted to know if any specific timelines were given, because I'm sure this is not the first time that the DCE, although he just assumed his seat, is saying this, because there have been past DCEs, past governments, and I'm sure this has persisted for a while. Were any timelines given aside the promise that they will look into the matter?
Yes, actually, no timeline was given. Really seriously. Yes. He said he was going to do consultation, but no timeline was actually given.
Shocking.
All right.
And you know my challenge with this, right? So all through the years, we have the Northern Scholarship Scheme, right? Was like a reform brought to address educational problems in the country. We had a Ghana Cocoa Board Scholarship, also an attempt to address issues. Then we had progressive free SHS, and now you had free SHS. Now, and guess what? The last time the minister was in Parliament on the media budget review, we understood that 9.9 billion Ghana cedis has been used on free SHS for the past 7 years since the policy was introduced for some 5.7 million school children or students, right? And that makes up 90% of the goods and services budget for education. Free SHS alone, taking 90% of the budget for goods and services, so like what we use for chalks, for markers, for books, and all of that. And the remaining 10% is used for basic, kindergarten, primary. And you ask yourself, how is it sustainable? Where only free SHS
has a chunk of the budget.
The overwhelming chunk of the budget. And so we say it's not sustainable because you need to look out for the basics. The foundation has got to be solid. And like we were saying, Alabira only came to confirm something we already know. So you take the attrition rate. at the national level, 7.5. So after every 10 students that start in class 1 or KG, only 7 of them or 8 will end up going into SHS. But in the north, it's 3%. Why? Because there's that uneven distribution of educational infrastructure. So in a community where they may be, the next school, the next primary school may be like 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers away. And to be fair, it's not safe allowing your child
it's unfair to them.
Exactly, it's not even healthy, right? Assuming they even walk to school, what's their state when they get into the classroom to study? So, see, I think the call has to be made. We need to relook the free SHS policy. It's great, it's helping. It's helped a lot more people. I mean, if you look at the numbers, you can't deny that a lot more students have gotten into school because of free SHS, right? But the truth also is that it has unduly affected the budget. 90% alone for free SHS, 10% for other ones. And you ask yourself, so for example, you look at CAPEX, the capital expenditure for the education sector, and there's none for basic school because all of the money is being used for free SHS. So there are no new infrastructures being built. There are no maintenance of already existing structures. And for me, it's not sustainable. So I think this report, it's very important, right? And Alabria, like I said, thank you so much for highlighting this very important story because it brings to the fore an issue we already knew. So Africa Education Watch did some work, and the numbers are not really pleasant. So I think it's about time we look at free SHS again. It's great, like I said, but maybe those who can afford it, right? And you sitting here, you can pay for like 3 people, and it won't even affect you in any way.
The sad thing about this report is that so these students who are struggling up and down the hill to just get education, which is their right. And it's, you know, they're struggling. They're supposed to write the same exam with everybody at the end of the day. It's so unfair to them.
Yeah, like
and I
said,
hope that authorities do something about
since
it.
2017.
Alabira, thank you so much for your report. Jude, I'm sorry I have to cut you, but
that's
we have to go. I know we have more.